So I recently saw a question on Quora about John Lennon's abilities as a guitarist. How good was he? Was he one of the best, or wasn't he all that special? And I liked Kim Chaffin's answer. In the world of music, good guitar players are a dime a dozen, especially now, while really great songwriters are the rarest thing imaginable. So I agree with that. And Lennon was this rare and prolific songwriter. He wrote hundreds of songs. But what's amazing to me is that no two of them sound the same. Okay, but going back to that question of Lennon's guitar skills, he was mostly a rhythm player. And, rhythm players get no love. And John could even be a little bit messy, but he was always wildly original in his guitar parts. I mean, almost every Beatles song that John plays on has some cool Lennon touch that adds something exciting and ear-catching to the core song. So I'm going to show you why John Lennon is one of the most influential guitarists ever, and why I argue he's really one of the greats. So stick with me to explore what John Lennon taught me about guitar and my top 3 lessons from Lennon. So Lennon lesson number 1 for me is that the rhythm guitar is a vital voice in any song and production. I mean, it can set up the song, it can propel it, it can glue it together and make the whole song more unique. I mean, think of something simple like the 8th note to triplet intro riff on Ticket to Ride. I mean, it's so simple, but so memorable, right? Well, then there's the opening note feedback on I Feel Fine and the suspended bar chord riff that runs through the whole song. So it turns into an endurance test for your hand. It's all bar chords, but he makes it sound so easy, right? So another example is John's relentless alternating down and up strum triplets on All My Lovin'. It's kind of tiring to keep that up through the whole song, but John did it perfectly and again made it sound easy. Now, I've always loved his super distorted, fast triplets, overload the console, all downstrokes intro to Revolution. I mean, come on, so cool. And it just proves Lennon was a force to be reckoned with as a guitarist. Because it's not just that he could play those riffs, he came up with them. All right, Lennon lesson number 2 is chords as counterpoint to melody. So I'm talking about the power that chords have to influence how we hear and feel a melody. Lennon wrote a lot of memorable melodies with a lot of movement, things like Imagine. Sounds kind of simple and sing-along. Imagine there's no heaven, it's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Like 4 times that repeats, right? But then it's got range too. Imagine all the people living for today, right? So John wrote plenty of complex melodies like that, but he also wrote lots of songs that creatively use single note melodies, like very little movement. It's kind of one of his trademarks. So the melody holds on and stays in one place while the ground underneath it moves and changes. Okay, some examples, like let's say on the verses of Help, he's basically holding a C sharp, right, while the chords move. When I was younger, so much younger than today, I never needed anybody's help in any way. See, there's just like mostly C sharp there. When I was younger, so much younger than today, I never needed anybody's help in any way. So he uses another single note melody for the middle 8 of Girl. She's the kind of girl who puts you down when friends are there. Same note all the way through. I'm Only Sleeping. When I wake up early in the morning. And your bird can sing. Tell me that you got everything you want. Okay, then we got the verses of Strawberry Fields. No one I think is in my tree, or always know, sometimes think it's me. Lucy in the Sky. Cellophane flowers of yellow and green, towering over your head. It's only at the end that he drops off that. So a song like I Am the Walrus uses a bunch of half steps in the first line, and then a single note for most of the second line. I am he as you are me, and we are all together. Right? Then he goes, see how they run like pigs from a gun, see how they fly. So a lot of single notes there. And then there's Julia. The whole verse is almost the same note. Half of what I say is meaningless, but I say it just to reach you, Julia. It only drops at the very end. So that's a key part of what John taught me, the importance of unique chord choices under a melody. And a key part of that is John's use of descending bass lines and leading tones in his chord progressions. So like Help, which descends B, A, G, F sharp, E. Help, I need somebody, help, not just anybody, help, you know I need someone, help. I'm not singing it in his octave. On Lucy in the Sky, he does a descending bass of an A to a G to an F sharp to an F. Or there's the A to A with G in the bass on I Am the Walrus. I am he as you are me, and we are all together. You know, that drop, so cool. And there's the finger-picked D, C, B, B flat on Dear Prudence. Leads me to Lennon lesson number 3, the beauty of finger picking. So it's 1967, and after John has been bashing out chords for years, he and his friends go to India, and they stay at the ashram of Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. And our favorite 60s era hippie folky Donovan Leitch is there. And he teaches John Merle Travis style fingerpicking. It uses a really simple pattern. It's a thumb, index finger, thumb, middle finger, and the thumb plays alternating bass notes like this. But see, John is always innovating, so by the time he's back in England and working on the White Album, he's already playing his own unique patterns, and he's doing something a little bit more original with his fingerpicking. So on Dear Prudence, he builds in little pauses, and he makes the upper strings play this 2-note melody, while the bass descends in that classic Lennon style. So watch what I have to do with my hand to keep that 2-note melody going. It's a little tricky, right? Then there's the intro of Happiness is a Warm Gun. She's not a girl who misses much. Oh yeah. Everything always sounds deceptively easy, but you can't imagine it any other way. Okay, so one Lennon fingerpicking song I've always loved but never learned until now is Julia. And it's kind of a confessional song written to John's absentee mother. So it's kind of dreamy, it's sincere, it's really spare, like John's soul is naked, right? And it definitely foreshadows where he's going on post-Beatles stuff like the Plastic Ono Band LP. So I figured out the picking pattern and the chords, and it's in standard tuning. It uses chords in the hand positions in the key of C, but it's actually in D because he plays it with a capo at the 2nd fret. And John modifies standard Travis picking by playing the bass note and the top string melody on every downbeat. So he goes like this. Always that bass and the high note together. And that really makes it his own thing. So after learning this part, I asked myself, how can I interpret Julia in my own way and honor John in the process? And I thought of two things. Number one, I wanted to highlight the really beautiful and surprising chord progression by adding vocal harmonies, so you'd really hear those chords. And I wanted my harmony parts to be inspired by what the Beatles did on John's ballad Because from Abbey Road, a song I just love. And then second, to make sure that the harmonies stayed in focus and you could really hear them, I put a rubber mute on the fingerpick guitar, which is this Gibson J50, all right? And I doubled the part. So it makes the notes kind of pop and die, listen. Leaves a lot of space for the vocals. So here's how the recording sounds. This is my way to honor and thank John Lennon for everything he's taught me.
What I say is meaningless, but I say it just to reach you, Julia, ocean child calls me, so I sing a song of love. Julia, seashell eyes, windy smile calls me, so I sing a song of love, Julia.
So there you go, 3 things I learned from John Lennon. Number 1, the rhythm guitar is a vital voice in any song and production. Number 2, the power of chords as melodic support and counterpoint. And number 3, the beauty of fingerpicking and breaking out of standard chord patterns. All right, I hope you enjoyed this. You're gonna find 200 more videos like this with lots of other tips and fun over at guitardiscoveries.com. While you're here, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know about future videos and find out what I learned from other great guitarists. So next week, I'm going to share more details of how I recorded my cover of Julia. I hope you won't miss it. In the meantime, you can watch and hear the whole song right now.